once you come across this WBC classification, you will understand that it is not just diapedesis and phagocytosis, it's a series of immune responses shown by the WBC inside your body. Now let's see how it is. Now WBC is categorized into two types. One is your granulocytes, another one is granulocytes. Now what do you mean by this granulocytes? Granulocytes means presence of granules. There are granules inside the WBCs, and those granules you can literally see it under a light microscope. Means if you have taken a slide in which you have prepared a blood smear, like once they prepare in your pathology lab, you have gone for blood test and they take a drop of blood, then smear it across a glass slide. If that is taken into your observation after some procedures which are there in the coursework, so you will see that there are certain cells which are filled with many small granules, and again there are some which have only some distinct nucleus. So the ones which are filled with granules along with the nucleus, they are called your granulocytes. They are clearly visible under the microscope, and the rest, they are called agranulocytes. Means they lack, that's why agranulocytes, they lack those granules. Now granulocytes, they are basically of your three types. We will see that. Let's rub it. Granulocytes, first you come across eosinophil, basophil, and neutrophil. Now if you take your total leukocyte count into consideration, you will see the maximum number of granulocyte which is present inside your blood, that is your neutrophil, and its function is very simple: target the antigen, kill it on the spot. So it performs the function of find out the pathogen, find out the antigen, and just engulf it, that is phagocytosis. Next to neutrophil is your eosinophil. So maximum number you will find in case of your neutrophils, and next to neutrophil you will find the maximum number is that of eosinophil. Now eosinophil, they are mainly associated with allergy and hypersensitivity. You come across some people, you have seen that slight dusting and they go on sneezing. So that's an allergic response, which now I'm quite sure that allergy you have already studied. You might be having a fair idea about it in class 9. If you are not clear about it, you can refer the tutorial classes that will be coming up for class 9 about allergy. So allergy or hypersensitivity is mainly associated with the number of eosinophil. If eosinophil number is very high, the person is supposed to have eosinophilia, a very common term you must have heard about, but you don't have any idea that what exactly it is. If eosinophil number is high, means the person is sensitive or very sensitive, hypersensitive to substances present around. As a result, a slightest change in the environment means at home that person will be sick, will be having a long chain of sneezes. It might be symptoms of cold and flu also. So that's what about eosinophil. The least number of granulocyte you will find is in case of your basophil. So the number of basophil is the least in case of your granulocytes inside the blood. Basophils, they contain an important granules known as your histamine. What is this histamine and what does it do? Now in your body, histamine once released, it will produce the symptoms of inflammation. If there is inflammation, means that particular region will be red it will be swollen up. You will feel that particular region is hot, means that particular things or region's temperature is comparatively high, and there will be considerable amount of pain. So these are the 4 symptoms of inflammation: redness, swelling, temperature rise at that particular portion, and pain. So these are the 4 symptoms of inflammation. And who contributes to that symptom, or which thing brings about those symptoms? It is histamine. And that's why if basophil count is very high, then it is a sure shot case of an early stage of inflammation. That's why in this case some drugs and medicines are given which are called anti-inflammatory drugs or antihistamines. This is the broad spectrum of those medicines which are responsible in reducing the symptoms of inflammation. That inflammation might be for various reasons, but they reduce the symptoms of inflammation. I hope it is clear. Now this was all about your granulocytes. Eosinophil for allergy and hypersensitivity. Basophils, histamine is present, responsible for bringing out inflammation symptoms. Neutrophil, they are mainly associated with your engulfing the bacterial pathogen or those bacterial component and phagocytizing it. Clear? Now let's talk about your granulocytes. Now granulocytes means they lack granules. So you have a very clear picture of the cell along with its nucleus. They are basically of 2 types. One is your lymphocyte, another one is your monocyte. Lymphocyte is mainly associated with your lymphatic system, the lymph organs. I hope you remember, example spleen, and your lymphatic vessels, the lymph. So the lymph is basically circulating throughout your body through the lymph vessels. Producing the lymphatic organs are the lymphocytes, which are associated with your body immunity. So these lymphocytes, they are again of 2 types: B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. B lymphocyte is mainly associated with production of antibodies. Now what are antibodies? Antibodies are those chemical substances produced inside your body to find the particular bacterial pathogen or the antigen and make it harmless or to kill it. T lymphocyte, they do not produce those chemicals or antibodies. They will directly go to the spot, kill it. B lymphocyte will produce chemicals, antibodies to make the antigen harmless. T lymphocyte will directly go to the spot and kill it. This is the basic difference. Coming to monocyte. Monocyte, the basic function, diaperesis and phagocytosis. Once it gets a clue that around the monocyte, there is some sort of bacterial pathogen or an antigen has got inside, it will start migrating towards that particular region. That process is called diaperesis. Once it has performed this, then it will mature into macrophage. And what is the function of macrophage? Phagocytosis. I hope this agranulocyte portion is clear to all of you. Now coming to the disorder of WBC. Now I hope you must be remembering about that word I used, that is your penia, erythropenia, that is reduced number of RBC. Again, if WBC number, if it is very low, let's not make it low, if it is very low, we call it leukopenia. If it is very high, it is a case of, you can say, cancer stage, which is called your leukemia. Now in some books they say that it is a condition in which the WBC number is just high, but it's not just that case. It is not that simple. If WBC number is slightly high, some sort of infection is there. But if it is a case of leukemia, it is considerably massively high, and massively high means it is a sort of cancer. There is some sort of malignancy in this. So I hope you're associated or acquainted with this disorders of WBC. It's quite clear. Now coming to the third type of your blood cells, that is your thrombocytes or the platelets.